ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः Let us see where we are here. One second. Yes, located that. And one more thing. Okay. So we saw how the discussion we saw the discussion about Brahman being Vastutaha Anantaha. Anantaha means it has all pervasiveness. It is not confined to a particular place. Anantyam, limitlessness. And since this limitlessness is uh, limitedly understood, it's not fully understood, or nor is it fully appreciated. It's not appreciated. Why is it not appreciated? Because there is no concept of it. There's absolutely no concept of it. If we take it as a meaning of a word, that it's going to yield, it's a word that it's going to yield a meaning, and that meaning I'm going to be able to see. Limitlessness doesn't work that way. The only way to quote unquote see limitlessness is to understand oneself. That's all it is. And until that understanding comes, then this whole discussion will elude. And this is the time that people will say, what is going on? Why should I understand this? What am I going to get out of this? And so this is the idea. And so this is why Bhashyakara spends some time in this segue Bhashya, and gives a very wonderful connection, which we saw last time. Just to sum it up briefly, Katham Punaha Sarva Sarva Anyatvam, Sarva Ananyatvam Brahmanaha iti. You see, I told you about that sutra. There is a Brahma Sutra that says Tad Ananyatvam. Arambhadi Shabdadibhyah Tad Ananyatvam. There is a Brahma Sutra based on the Chandogya Vakya that everything here is all one. And so here, Bhashyakara asks a question and answers it. It is not Purva Paksha here. It is just a little bit of a dialogue, a self-dialogue. Katham Punaha. So how come, Katham Punaha, how come now, Sarva Ananyatvam Brahmanaha iti. How come Brahman gains the status of not being separate from anything? Uchyate means the reason is being given, the hetu is being given. Sarva Vastu Karanatvat, because it is the cause of everything. Because it is the karana of everything. Sarvesham vastunam karanatvat, because it is the cause of everything. And because there is a connection between that oneness. Sarva Ananyatvam means oneness. That oneness, which symbolizes Brahman. That oneness is limitlessness. Please understand. That oneness is limitlessness. There is no other limitlessness. That limitlessness is expressed as oneness. And that oneness alone is limitlessness. And this oneness, which one, of course, is yearning for, and which is why this knowledge becomes pertinent. So, this oneness, how does this Brahman gains this oneness? Because of it being the cause of everything. So, very nice connection between oneness and a imbued causality, as we are going to see very cleverly. That is also going to be very nicely parsed and understood. So the Brahman enjoys a causality, like somebody, like a goddess wearing a mala. So you can take off the mala, the goddess, the deity is still going to be there. And here you can take off the causality, Brahman is going to be there. So the causality is Alankara. Alankara means it's an embellishment. So the causality itself is an embellishment, meaning Brahman can be without this causality. And without the causality means status of being a cause. This Karanatvam need not be there, but it is there. And what kind of Karanatvam it is, now it has to be established. Otherwise, we will go on a wrong trip when we get to the next mantra. What is the next mantra? Tasmadva etasmat atmanah akashas sambhutah. From this Brahman, which is Brahmatma, which is oneself, the space has come. From space, air came, wind came, from wind, fire came, from fire, water came, and from water, earth came, and from earth, all the vegetation came, and from the vegetation, these bodies have come. And the vegetation is sustaining the bodies, all the trees and the plants. The food is always vegetarian, okay? Yeah. Yeah, food is vegetarian, and that is the argument of everybody who eats animals, because they will say, every all the animals, the big cats which prey on goats and all this. If you ask the big cat, you know, food is vegetarian, it will heartily agree if it can talk, and it will say, yes, I only eat vegetarians. Okay, so that's all. Either you eat the grass, or you feed the animal the grass and then eat the animal. That's all it is. And so here, out of the vegetation, these bodies have come. This was the whole kind of a thing. And now there are in the world a fair share of what are called realists. Realists, polite term for Nayayikas, logicians. Okay, so these realists, they love to have some kind of a creation cosmology. They get very excited about creation cosmology because, oh, I want to have the origin. Everybody loves origins. Everybody loves origin stories. And I want to know the origin of this universe. Ooh, give me one story. I want one story. What happened? Who came first? How did this happen? What happened? And I want to know everything. Don't leave any details out. People love stories, and people love origin stories. So if you meet somebody, and let's say, you go to a wedding, and then you greet the um, couple, the bride and the groom, and then you just have to ask, how did you meet? And then they will be very excited to share the story. And then a small crowd will gather of all the guests, because everybody wants to know. There's something very satisfying about an origin story. You know why? Because everybody is unmoored. They don't, everybody feels strung out. They don't know where I'm from. I don't know what I'm doing here. What am I connected to? What is this all about? And I just, that's why, the websites called like ancestry.com have become very, 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 very successful. Because of this origin story, penchant, this hang up for this origin story, everybody just rushes to these kinds of things. They all want the origin stories. And so, where did I come from? Oh, don't worry, you came on the Mayflower. Everybody, everybody has that, that kind of an origin story. Mayflower is one ship that went to America, and so that was the name of that ship. So everybody just came piled on that, and then so the great great grandmother and great great grandfather, everybody was on this, and so there's some kind of okay, I have some legit I have some legit creds, I have some credentials, I belong. This longing to belong, this is the problem. That's why the origin stories are so satisfying. Even if it's some two random people, you ask how you met and they get into their story and you somehow are strangely feeling satisfied. And then of course these ancestry.com and all, further this kind of a they assuage in the empirical sense, they assuage these kinds of longings. Now, what to talk about the cosmology, what to talk about the creation cosmology? Imagine how exciting it would be. That's why we are very, very happy with the photos sent by the Webb telescope, James Webb telescope, and it showed a nursery. Oh, daycare, baby daycare, yeah, where the stars are born. Oh, you mean celebrities? No, 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 no. We mean real stars. Real stars. Not the local stars. Real stars are born. It shows the nursery. And then if you look closely in the photo, you can see blankies. You can see pacifiers for the stars, which the baby stars used. You can see little rattles and toys. All this you can see. So, very, very clear picture of the baby nursery. Don't look for the rattles, okay? Otherwise, you'll be rattled. Okay, that was just a joke. But this is how it is. We are very excited. So the origin of the universe, because I'm part of this universe. That's how everybody thinks. I'm part of this universe. So how did this come into being? So the physicists are excited, the astronomers are excited, and everybody is excited. 14 billion years ago, a star fell and now you're seeing it. It's amazing. It's just mind boggling how this all, it just boggles the mind how this all is there. And so, since there is such an attachment and an addiction to these, what are they called, these origin stories, then there is there is a danger. And what is the danger? To take this cosmology, the creation cosmology presented in the Taittiriya in great detail, and it'll go through it one by one, and to take this as real. Real means, would you mean it's unreal? No, it's neither real nor unreal, but we have to understand that the reason for this creation cosmology that is going to come in the next mantra, in the next verse, is not is not to establish some kind of a credentials for the origins of the universe. The Upanishad is very bored trying to think of origins. The Upanishad is the least bit bothered about origins. It could care less about origins. Then what is the point? Well, why is this cosmology being talked about? Because the creation cosmology is only to understand the imbued causality, the as though causality which is hung on the neck of Brahman like a mala, totally dispensable. That which comes and goes. That's the only reason why we are entering into the next mantra talking about the creation cosmology. We are not interested in creation. And why it will be very, very clear very, very soon why we are not interested in creation, because there is no such thing as creation. There is only a abhivyakti, a manifestation. And as though manifestation of what? Of just the name and the form, and that which inheres the name and form, that which gives a status to the name and form, the status of isness, is Brahman. Only to understand this beautiful cosmology of creation is presented. And may we not make the mistake of taking this literally and then saying, okay, akasha vayuhu vayoho agnihi, from this came, from that came, and then you by heart all this, and then you just get caught up in this. No, not at all. No. And so, therefore, there is a very careful segue, Bhashya segue, prepared by Bhashyakara, so that we can go from Satyam Jnanam Anantam, which was the definition of Brahman, which was indeed a particular kind of definition called Swarupa Lakshana, which means that it is a kind of a, what is that? The exposition of the intrinsic nature of Brahman. That which cannot be removed from Brahman and it still be Brahman, no. That is what is called the intrinsic nature of Brahman. Tatastha, Swarupa Lakshana, its nature. And that was described as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And that being done, now the Upanishad can straight away go to the creation cosmology, but we would be left high and dry to understand the connection between the second kind of a definition that we are about to enter, the second definition of Brahman as the cause of the universe. And that causality is that which is dispensable. It is not an intrinsic part of Brahman. In fact, Brahman has no parts. It is not intrinsic to Brahman. It is incidental. This causality is incidental to Brahman. To show this, there is a segue bhashya which we are in the midst of. And that is why first the thing that was established was this oneness, and from this oneness, sarva karanatvam, the Brahman as the cause of everything was established. And then having done that, cause of everything, including space-time, the cause here is both the material and the maker, the intelligent cause. Abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. That which is both the intelligent cause and the material cause, unlike what we see in the universe, where the intelligence is not part of the material. We see this. You buy a wonderful flower vase from the shop. The one who has crafted the flower vase is not there, does not move in with you. Only the material comes. But still, in an invisible way, the handiwork of the person who made the vase is very much there. So, in the universe also, this abhinna nimitta upadana karanatvam, the intelligent cause which we have discussed earlier, and the cause which is what? The material are both Brahman. Because where will Brahman go to borrow the material? There is nothing else other than Brahman. So the material is also an as though projection of this Brahman. And this is what has up till now been established. Now, the Purva Pakshi comes out. Who is this Purva Pakshi? Purva Pakshi is the objector. The objector comes with an objection. Because the discussion has been that Brahman is one. There is only one. Brahman is the material, Brahman is the maker, Brahman is the intelligence, Brahman is the cause of everything, and Brahman is non-separate from everything. And this non-separate argument is very important because that is that oneness. So Brahman is one with everything. There is nothing other than Brahman or separate from Brahman. This was already talked about. And so therefore Brahman is spatially and time, temporally and spatially limitless. And what is the third one? Object-wise also limitless. This was talked about. At this point, the Purva Pakshi rises up and has a particular objection. Let us repeat this. Karya apekshaya
कार्यापेक्षया
vastutah
वस्तुतः
antavatvam iti chet.
अन्तवत्वम् इति चेत्
Yeah. So, this is a very interesting question. Karya apekshaya. Apekshaya from the standpoint, through the standpoint of the effect. So, now you're saying Brahman is the cause of everything. So, from the standpoint of the effect, iti chet, suppose from the standpoint of the effect, then vastutaha antavatvam iti chet. So, suppose Brahman has object-wise limitation. Very interesting argument. Very, very interesting argument. And in the understanding of the answer given by Bhashyakara to refute this Purva Paksha is the kernel of Vedanta that we cannot afford to miss. We cannot miss this. So really we have to listen carefully to both the argument and its dismissal. Very interesting. So he says, Katham punaha. Sarva ananyatvam. So he says that then, no, that we finished. So the next question here, yeah, that we have already done. Yeah. Karya apekshaya vastutah antavatvam iti chet. So up till now, we know there is a Vastu, and that Vastu has a name. It is called Brahma, and then it is also called Karanam. It is the cause. Okay, let it be Karanam. This Karanam is Vastu. Karanam means this cause is the Vastu. Vastu means it's an entity. And then what is the effect? The effect that has come out from this Brahman, that is also Vastu. Karyam is also Vastu. So how many Vastus? Two Vastus. Two entities now. You see where we are headed here. Two entities are there. So Vastu Antara is there, meaning there is two Vastus between one Vastu which is the cause and the other Vastu which is the effect. That is what is there. Karyam is Vastu, effect is Vastu, Karanam is also Vastu, then there are two different things. Then what? So then, therefore, this is anantyahani. There is a loss of limitlessness because the karya, the effect will limit the cause and the cause will limit the effect. How will they limit each other? The effect will limit the cause by not being the cause. Ah. And the cause will limit the effect by not being the effect. So the cause is cause, effect is effect. So the cause doesn't pervade the effect according to certain people. I mean, this is very easy to read it in this way. And if the effect of course doesn't pervade the cause. And then so we have two things. Effect is effect because it is not the cause, it's limited. And then cause is cause, and because it is not the effect, it is also limited. The existence of the effect limits the cause, and the existence of the cause limits the effect. Now what do we have? Where has that oneness flown away now? Oneness is gone. It is called Anantyahani. What are you going to do now? We are in a pickle. You are in a pickle, says the Purva Pakshi. Your oneness has gone to the dogs. Why? Because everything is real. Karana is real. Cause is real. And then what else is real? Effect is also real. And then if you went, this is like a very, this kind of an argument is very enticing to the, what's those people's name? Nayayikas and Vaisheshikas. Nayayikas means the logicians. Vaisheshikas, I don't know what to say, how to translate them in English. Cousins of Nayayikas. Okay, that's a very good translation. And then so these people, they will, they come up with a very interesting connection between cause and effect. Like Mrit. Mrit is the cause. Mrit means clay. And then effect is what? Effect is ghata. Ghata means pot. So pot is the effect. Mrit is the cause. Clay is the cause. And they will say, yes, yes, both of them are real. How can they both be real? They are both real. You see, we've been studying Vedanta for a long time, even that their very thinking is preposterous. But this is how their thinking is. And this is how, in fact, you may be thinking that, oh, why are we studying Nayayika Darshana? Because these Nayayikas, not even a single Nayayika you will find now. They're all buried and gone. And they were there, some ancient Purva Pakshis. Why are we exhuming their arguments? Let the sleeping Nayayikas lie. Why are you extricating them and exhuming their bodies and trying to do a post-mortem? The only reason is because these Nayayikas continue. They have just undergone an identity change. That's all. They are not called Nayayikas anymore. Oh, what are they called? Realists. They're called realists. For them, everything is real, 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 real. This is also real, that is also real. And they are a mess. If you think everything is real, then your sorrow is real, your every little fleeting feeling is real. This is real, that is real, everything is real. Stomach is real, food is real, everything is real, 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 real. And so everything is so real that the whole argument is unreal, out of this world actually. And so therefore, this is this is why we are studying this. It's, even though we use the word Nayayika, I mean many people even now in the in the contemporary philosophical arena, theological arena, have this idea that everything is separate from everything else. And they go to great lengths to prove that as well. And so they are just scions of this Nayayika. They are from the same parampara, same lineage. They just have a different name, that's all. That is why we are looking into this argument, not because we want to exhume the body of knowledge called Nayayika philosophy. No, we're not interested in that. And so here, what do these people think? These Nayayikas, what will they do? They will say clay is real, pot is real. Oh, but don't you see a connection between the two? Yeah, the connection is also real. It is called Samavaya connection. What is the Samavaya? Another real entity. Okay, where was it? Is this Samavaya, which is the third entity? What is its origin story? Did it come from the clay or did it come from the pot? If you say it came from the pot, because pot itself was not there, so then the Samavaya was born with the pot and then it somehow miraculously joined to the clay and then thereby linking clay and pot. No, 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 no. They'll say the Samavaya belonged to the clay. If Samavaya belonged to the clay, then why should it link to the pot? That is also there. All these strange connections are there. And then even now, the realists, they will use other arguments, but then everything is real. And now we are going to this particular question is that is coming from this person or people from the standpoint of the person who is not able to see this oneness, who takes the cause and the effect as two different things. And then you have to ask only one question. If the effect is real and the cause is also equally real, how come whenever I see the effect, I see the cause in the same place? This is all you have to ask to floor these people. How come in the same object, in the same place, at the same time, I see the pot and then I also see the clay? How is this possible? If there were two separate things, then I should not be able to see both the things in the same place at the same time. And then another thing, without thinking of clay, I cannot think of the pot. The two are somehow connected. How can there be, how can they be, what is the connection between the two? And this is, this is exactly the understanding that we need to have, that the cause and the effect are seen at the same time. At the same time, I see the cause, at the same time, I see the effect. And so then, therefore, they are not separate. And therefore, the question comes, Karya Pekshaya, from the standpoint of the effect, Karanam Bhinnam, the cause is separate. And so then, how can there be oneness? How can there be oneness? Karana is Karana, Karya is Karya, and then they are kept separate, everything is separate. And then, so this is the, so the effect so the karana, is enjoying a causality, but at the same time it is finite because of it not being the effect. The effect is enjoying its status as an effect, but it is disbarred from being one with the cause. And so therefore, this is the this is the problem here. Bhashyakara says, no, na. And what is the, where is the Bhashya here? Yeah. And he says, na. Why? Anritatvat karyavastunah. Karyavastunah anritvat. Anritatvat. And very, very interesting argument. And this is like the bread and butter of Vedanta. And he says, Karya Vastunah, the Karya Vastu means the cause, the Vastu, sorry, the Vastu called the effect, Karya Vastu, Anritatvat. Anritatvat means not enjoying the same order of reality as the cause. The effect, Adi Shankara just points in his usual fashion, he's going to point out the answer in a kernel, and then he's going to elaborate a little bit each point. So the perceived version is this. This is not true, he says. Why? Because anritatvat karyavastunah. So this is exactly the he just refutes it. Anritatvat. Anrita here doesn't mean sorry, it doesn't mean false. The word anritam in colloquial parlance means false. And here it is, here it's, like you can say, where did you go? You can tell your child, and the child says, oh, I went here. Anrutam, false. You're not telling me the truth. This is not that false. Here it means mithya. Anrutam here means mithya. So the status of this karya. Karya means what? Jagat. That is what it is. Karya means Jagat. And the status of this Karya, what is the status of this Karya? The status of this Karya is Mithya. The status of this Karya is not as real as that which is the cause. It is the same kind of a thing like a person and their shadow. So the shadow that you cast, anyone can see, is not as real as you. Unless, of course, we are talking of a sci-fi movie where all the shadows come to life and they take over and they have a uber reality over your life and trouble you. That, such a thing is possible only in some kind of a figment of an author's imagination, or in some kind of a sci-fi movie, book, movie, etc. This is a fiction. But really speaking, the shadow is a mimic. You, you go like this, the shadow also goes like this. You go like this, the shadow also goes like this. The shadow is like a monkey. Whatever you do, it mimics. So, in other words, it doesn't have a reality of its own. It is just an extension of you. It's a projection of you. It's really a projection of you. And you can see it in the light. The light casts the shadow. You cast the shadow in the presence of light. And so the shadow and you are not two. Even though you cast a shadow, you can still say, I alone am. If you go to somebody's house for tea, you don't say, please make 2 cups. Me and my shadow are here for tea. You don't say that. The shadow is not going to, is not reckoned at all. It is not counted. And so the karya here has a reality. We don't dismiss the effect. Effect means jagat here, starting with your own body, mind, sense complex. So the effect means jagat, and so we do not dismiss the jagat at all. We don't dismiss the jagat. We don't try to spirit away the jagat. We are not jagat deniers. Jagat deniers means people who deny that there is a jagat. We are not jagat deniers. We are not body deniers. In fact, every Shanti mantra there is starts with the body. Please keep my limbs intact. Let me be able to serve this knowledge for many, many years. Let me first partake of this knowledge and then, if appropriate, share this knowledge with others for many, many years. Let me be here. And this is exactly what is the crux of this. We don't deny the body. We do not deny the existence of the mind. We do not deny the jagat, the universe. We just give it a reality that is not an empirical reality, that is not the same as the absolute reality. And the same difference as you and the shadow, Jagat, you Brahman, and then shadow Jagat. That is what it is. Very shady business, this whole projection business. And so here again, mind you, we are not interested. The Upanishad is the least bit bothered to show any kind of a creation cosmology at all. The primary and interest is to show the oneness of everything, and that oneness is you, that oneness is Brahman, knowing which you are one with everything. That is what it is. And this oneness, another name for this oneness in Sanskrit is called Sarvatma. Sarvatma Bhava is that oneness. Sarvatma means the I in me is the I in you, is the I in he, is the I in she, is the I in they, is the I in everything. The I in the tree, the I in the sky, the I in the stars is all one. This is Sarvatma. This is moksha. This is moksha. And then no other moksha is there. Moksha means recognizing this Sarvatma Bhava. Otherwise you have to, see why is this Sarvatma Bhava only moksha? Is that only is the definition of moksha? I'll tell you why. Very, very simple reason. Because if Sarvatma if this oneness is not moksha, then you will keep on craving something or the other. Sarvatma is moksha. Otherwise, you have to become something else in order to be recognized. And then, so Sarvatma Bhava means it is freedom, moksha from a life of becoming. If I am everything, whatever that is becoming is samsara, and from becoming, if I have to withdraw, or the becoming has to stop for me, becoming this, becoming that, if this whole futile quest for this, for becoming something or the other has to stop, then there should be nothing else to become. If samsara is becoming, and if the becomings, this becoming that, becoming more accomplished, becoming more compassionate, becoming more rich, becoming more versatile, becoming more famous, if all that has to stop, then there should be nothing more to become. Correct? And there should be nothing more to become. And then if nothing else to become is there, that means what? I should be everything. If there is the possibility is there for me to not become anything else, then I should be everything. And this is what is Sarvatma. And so everything here is non-separate from the Karana. This is the Vedantic understanding. It is the contention. It's the refuting of the stupid argument that the Karana is separate, Karya is separate, and long shall then the two will never meet. All this is gone. The effect is non-separate from the cause, a very radical and a very beautiful, understanding of Vedanta here. So, anritatvat karyavastunah anritatvat, he says this is, both of them do not occupy the same order of reality, otherwise you cannot have one. You cannot have one at all. You will have to count two, you will have to say this is cause, this is effect. But here, the effect is got a shadow existence. It's just cast, it is just projected by the cause. As it were. Like you casting a shadow. And at noon, the shadow is not there and then it's gone. Then again at 4 o'clock, one lamba, big shadow comes. Then, this is very, very interesting. Just like your shadow comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, this is if there is nothing else to become, then I should understand that I am everything. And the karya, therefore, the effect called the jagat in Vedanta enjoys a reality that has nothing to do with satyam. It is just, it is neither satyam nor is it non-existence. It is in between. This in between nature of this reality is called mithya. Andratatvam here means mithya. So so therefore, this Sarvatma Bhava alone is moksha. I am everything. There's nothing other than me. This is moksha. Otherwise, if you know I am consciousness, that doesn't do anything. I am the consciousness. This is not, this is it doesn't work. Therefore, Sarvatma Bhava means freedom from becoming something or the other. And therefore, he says, Anrutatvat Karyavastunah, the Karyavastu being mithya, therefore it is Brahmanaha Ananyatvam Praptam Siddham. So this does not disturb the oneness that we have established for Brahman. We have this doesn't disturb it at all. This is very much there, very much right here. It is the here, and it is not being disturbed. It is not being displaced just because now we have a new thing called effect. We have a new thing called this vast Jagat. This Brahman is not being, this Brahman, the oneness of Brahman is not being threatened, is not being displaced at all. Just like a shadow is not a threat to you, is it? It is not at all a threat to you. And so, therefore, mithya bhutam vastu, it is not a threat because it is not independent of you. You cast the shadow. So, similarly, the Jagad vastu is not independent. This Jagad vastu or Karya vastu is not is dependent upon Brahman. It's not independent of Brahman. It has no independent existence apart from the Karana. Apart from the Karana, it has no independent existence. And therefore, Anritatvat Karya Vastunah. And he is going to explain this a little further. Let us see. Okay, let us repeat. Nahi
नहि
Karana Vyatirekena
कारणव्यतिरेकेण
Karyam Nama Vastutah Asti
कार्यं नाम वस्तुतः अस्ति
Yatah
यतः
Karana Nivarteta
कारणबुद्धिनिवर्तेत
वाचारम्भणं विकारो
वाचारम्भणं विकारो
नामधेयं
नामधेयम्
ऋत्तिका इति एव सत्यम्
मृत्तिका इति एव सत्यम्
एवं
एवं
सदेव सत्यम् इति
सदेव सत्यम् इति
श्रुत्यन्तरात्.
श्रुत्यन्तरात्.
Yeah, so this clinches it. Nahi, not indeed. Karanavyathirекena. Karanavyathirекena means other than the cause. Not indeed, other than the cause. Karanavyathirекena, not indeed, other than the cause. Something called an effect is not there in reality. Karyam nama vastu, something called an effect, asti vastutaha asti. Vastutaha means in reality it is not there. Na asti. Where is the na? It is there right in the beginning, okay? So we shouldn't get confused that asti, it is saying vastutaha asti. No, vastutaha na asti. Because the na has been put in the beginning of the sentence to negate the entire argument that there is something else other than the cause. No, this effect is non-separate from the cause, which is what is being pointed out here. Because the karya vastu as was seen as anritam, as mithya. So karya vastu being mithya, then what is there? Only karana is there. Karya is nothing but karana. Karya just resolves into the karana and only karana is there. The karya is a name. Karyam nama vastutaha. It is not there in reality. Yataha, from which karana buddhi nivarteta, from which the thought of the cause goes away. Karana buddhi means the thought of the cause goes away. We will talk about this at length. He's already explained this earlier. That's why he's going to not touch this too much. He has already explained this earlier. He remembers, even if we don't. And when did he explain this? He explained this when he talked about when you look at a cow, cow buddhi comes, correct? So the buddhi is full of cowness is there, gotva buddhi is there. And then after that, you see the ashwa, both of them, let us say they are grazing in the field. So first you see cow, and then you see naturally the eyes stray. What else is there? Okay, grass is there. Oh, look, next to the cows, the horse is also there. They are both grazing, both of them are grazing there. And so when you see the horse, the cow buddhi nivarteta. The cow buddhi goes away. No more cow. Before that, the cow was very much in the buddhi. It is a patchy cow, it's a Jersey cow, it's a milch cow, it's a all these things you had, all these ideas. It's got big horns, and then better not go too close. All these the cow was occupying the mind. Huge cow. And then what? Suddenly you see a nice brown colored swift horse with some nice markings, and then the sight of the horse takes away the cow buddhi goes, and the horse buddhi comes. And then you look at the tree, the cow buddhi has gone, the horse buddhi has gone, and the tree buddhi has come. He explained this already. But in the example of pot and clay, you can have pot buddhi and clay buddhi at the same time. At the same time, at which point I appreciate the presence of the pot, I can appreciate the presence of the clay right there, in the same time, in the same place, in the same instant. I can do that. This is something fascinating. This is so exciting to think about. But how is it possible? How can I, whenever I see the effect, I see the cause? Cause is very much there. The cause is therefore we say non-separate from the effect. So you see the flower, then you see the tree, you see the fruit, you see the tree, you see the pot, you see the clay. So that which we call karya, that which we call an effect, is non-separate from the cause. Yeah, so, nahi karana vyatirekena karyam nama vastutah asti. So, karyam nama na asti vastutah. So, there is no such thing called effect. Karyam nama means called effect. So there is no such thing called effect, which is karana vyatirekena. So mind you, we are not saying there is no such thing called effect. We are saying there is no such thing called effect that is separate from the cause. That is what we are saying. Very, very important distinction. So there is no such thing called effect that is separate from the cause, from which the cause buddhi reverts, nivarteta. It does not revert. The karana buddhi is never opposed to the karya buddhi. So the karana buddhi is there and the karya buddhi is enjoyed in the same place. Same place, at the same time, you enjoy the presence of the pot, and then immediately you see the clay, you recognize the clay. You recognize the truth of the pot. And so therefore, this is the argument called abheda. Abheda means this non-separateness. Abheda is another way of expressing oneness. This is again the argument called the oneness argument. It's not really an argument, it's the truth of oneself, really. And so this kind of an abheda, this kind of a oneness does not shy away from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. You can have infinite numbers of karya and it doesn't threaten the karana. It doesn't threaten the cause. We are not shying away from that, because that which is this abheda, that which is oneness, does not depend upon anything else. It is due to the undivided wholeness, non-dual nature of the vastu. It does not suffer from any kind of sankocha, restriction, any kind of limitation. And so therefore, just because we have a subject-object distinction, the subject object is as though mithya. The truth of the subject is indeed the truth of the object. That is where we need to go in order to understand the rest of the Upanishad. This is something which is very, very important. We are looking at the truth of the subject and the object. We are talking of that which is the sustaining factor of both the subject and the object, without being either the object or the subject. It is because of which the subject is called subject, and because of which the object is called object, without being either the object or the subject, because it is limitless. So in spite of this subject object division, there is oneness. In the absence of the subject object, if there is oneness, then if there is a abheda, then that means what? That means this abheda does not depend upon anything. Abheda does not depend on anything at all. So, so therefore what? So therefore we are not threatened by the distinctions. We are not threatened by bheda at all, because we are not trying to get rid of the difference. Differences are not threatening, because we understand that inherent wholeness and oneness, and the difference between cause and effect, subject, object, whatever it is, see or seen, know or known, that is not threatening. Why is that not threatening? Because it is mithya. The difference is mithya. When you understand mithya, it's not threatening and it doesn't need to be got rid of. You have to get rid of mithya, How are you going to get rid of mithya? It's all Ishvara Srishti. Sunset, mithya. Okay, get rid of the sunset. How? You can't. Oh, get rid of the earth. You can't. Get rid of the Panchatattvas, the 5 elements. You can't. You cannot get rid of the Panchabhutas. You cannot get rid of anything. Why? Because you did not create it. It was already, it is Bhagavat projection. It is Bhagavat Abhivyakti. It is Bhagavan's projection. And so you cannot do anything there to Bhagavan's projection. You can withdraw your projections, your subjective projections, so that you can see Bhagavan's projections for what they are. You just have, you cannot do this. And so therefore, and you need not do this. Very important. You need not know this, do this. Because people have a very wrong understanding of mithya. They think that mithya means, oh, unreal. And so then they're all mixed up about mithya. Somebody told me, oh, I know the mind is mithya, yet I'm depressed. Why? If you know the mind is mithya, why are you depressed? Because the feeling is satyam. Mind is mithya, but the feelings that are inside the mind are satyam. Anger, fear, sorrow, all satyam. This is all like this. We have some kind of a confused dish in India called bhel puri. It's got a little bit of this, little bit of that, little bit of raw, little bit of fried stuff, and little crunchy. You can't make out whether it is crunchy, whether it is soft, whether it is soggy, whether it is, what is it, whether it is crisp. You cannot make out. So this argument is like a bhel puri argument because this is not understood. And so, therefore, the solution for seeing the mind as mithya but the feelings is real is to understand the whole thing as mithya. I am Satyam, that's what it is. So, you don't need to get rid of mithya. And then, so therefore, nahi karana vyatirekena, other than the cause, independent of the cause, there is no material. There is no material independent of the cause. An object which is called karya vastu does not exist in reality, from which karana buddhi nivarteta, from which the cause which is in competition with the cause, we can take it like that. Meaning, see this argument of seeing the cow, when you see the cow the horse is gone, and then when you see the horse the cow is gone. That was there because between the cow and the horse there is no causality. The horse did not give birth to the cow, and the cow did not give birth to the horse. You see, that's why when you see the cow you don't see the horse, because they both belong to the same order of reality. But here we are talking of cause and effect. We are talking of gold and bangle or gold and chain. We are talking of clay and then pot. There is a connection. There is an inherent causal connection. One is the cause of the other. And so when you see the chain, you definitely see the gold. It's not that the chain is in your hand and the gold is at the shop. No. Jeweler's shop. No. Wherever the chain goes, there the gold goes. Yatra yatra chain, tatra tatra gold, hiranyam. So therefore, this is exactly what it is. So now if the cause and effect were two different vastus, then when I looked at the cause, the effect should go away. When I look at the clay, then the pot should go away. Does it go away? No, it's still there. And more importantly, when I look at the pot, the clay should go away. Does not go away. Because there is there is that inherent causation, and that which is called the effect does not in reality have its own being. The beingness of the effect is dependent upon the cause. Yeah. You keep talking, You have talked so much about cause, effect, yap. And these Vedanta teachers are like that. They keep wanting to talk all the time. And they have these two stock examples. What are they? Pot clay. And then the other one, gold chain. Okay. When you see the gold, when you see the chain, you see the gold. And when you see the pot, you see the clay. But then when I see the Jagat, I do not see Brahman. This is the problem. It's fine for you to say, oh, you see the gold, you see the pot. But where is Brahman? I look around, I only see the vasu, I only see the effect. I look at the mountain, it's an effect, it's a karya. I look at a river, it's an effect, it's a karya. I look at the tree, it's an effect, it's a karya. I look at the sun, it's an effect. I look at the wind that is not look, but I feel the wind that is blowing, that is also an effect. Where is Brahman? You say that Brahman is this thing, so you can see Brahman and then you can see the cause and everything. I don't see Brahman. This is this is why Bhashyakara points out this. So Brahman doesn't come anywhere in the picture. Where is Brahman? Brahman is there. Yeah. Because if you see Brahman, then you won't be Brahman. Would you rather see Brahman or be Brahman? Well, one would think that there is a unanimous consensus here. No. Most people will say, many people in the Jagat will say, I want to see Brahman rather than be Brahman. I want to taste the sugar. I don't want to be the sweetness. I want to taste the sugar. That separateness itself somehow is connected with the longing. This separatist philosophies have a savior psychology there. There is a savior psychology. The separatist, why do you want to look upon Bhagavan as separate? No, I need somebody to help me when I'm in trouble. If I am Bhagavan, then kiske paas? Who will I go to? Who will I go to? So this is the thinking. So there is the savior psychology. This is all very, very interesting because the savior psychology gives rise to dualistic philosophies. Definitely. Because somehow I want to be redeemed, I want to be saved, and I'm helpless, and I want somebody to lift me up. Swing low, sweet chariot, and come and take me home. And this is what it is. I feel alone. I feel frightened. Rescue me, save me, help me. Who will I ask? If you are me and I am you, and whenever so therefore, in a way, if you ask her, please don't ask the question, do you want to see Brahman or be Brahman? Because you will be disappointed with the answers. You'll be disappointed. And so here, the question here, the answer to this question, really speaking, do you want to see Brahman or be Brahman? The answer is you cannot see Brahman even if you want to see Brahman. Why? Because it is you. Simple. It is you. No, but what is there in the temple? Your alter ego. Okay, that's what is there in the temple. Your alter ego is sitting there. So this is the idea. And so the temple is from the standpoint of this same empirical reality. From the standpoint of the empirical reality, bhakta, the devotee, and the object of devotion, that is in the same order of reality. But from the standpoint of the reality itself, here this is not, this is from the standpoint of the vastu, this thing called karya has no basis at all, no basis other than this satyam at all. So then, because if you see Brahman, you will not be anantam, because it has to include you as well. And so it is the swarupa of the recognizer. It's the swarupa of the recognizer. But then you can't see Brahman, but you can recognize Brahman. How? In everything that has the word is. The is Brahman. Really, we have talked about this many, many times. Is Brahman. So wherever you see the word is, recognize that to be Brahman. It will be kind of fun, you can just do this. You can take any article online and then find, you click on find, you put it, you search for any article, and you take that article and then put it in your word processor form, and then what, and then you do the find menu, you go under find, and then just put the word is. Think of how many is's are there in one 5-page article. Even it doesn't have to be a huge one. 3 to 5 page article. It could be something you wrote, or it could be something somebody else wrote. And then you see how many is's are there. You highlight all the is's. It will highlight. You say, I want to find the word is. Is it there? Yes, it is. Is. It is is. And as many times as you encounter the word is, do one namaskara there, because that is Brahman. That is Brahman. This is darshanam, is Brahma darshanam. This is the only darshan. This is the recognition. The recognition that whatever exists is Brahman. Pot exists, that existence is Brahman. Thought exists, the existence is Brahman. Mat, cat, hat, rat, bat exist. They are all Brahman, Brahman, Brahman alone. Whenever you use the word is, it is Satyam. And that Satyam is you. It is Brahman. You see, so therefore the argument stands. What argument? The argument that this is, this what is that? The effect is non-separate from the cause. That argument stands. Is. Pot is, tree is, bud is, flower is, fruit is. The is never goes. Mountain is, five element is. And then I only see is, but is not. But I don't see Brahman. Is Brahman. That is Brahman. That is what is called Brahman. There is no other Brahman. That's all it is. So I is, object is, thought is. And that which objectifies the thought, that is in all three. The knower, known, knowledge, everything is. It is that consciousness alone, which is non-separate from that, from that universe which it has projected. And this is something which is so important to understand. And here again, one more time, one last time, hopefully, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are not gunas of Brahman. The dualist acharyas take them to be gunas of Brahman. No, they're not gunas of Brahman. If you say they are gunas of Brahman, then you say, oh, consciousness is not there in a rock. Who says? Consciousness is there everywhere. But the rock does not talk. Rock does not talk. That's true. Because there is no sukshma sharira. It has nothing to do with consciousness. There is no sukshma sharira. That's why it doesn't talk. And so that sukshma sharira means subtle body is not there. That is why it is not talking. But otherwise, it's all consciousness alone. So therefore what? See, therefore, uh, karanam, because of this karana status is still ananya. It is ananya. The cause is the effect. The karya is ananya from the karana, is non-separate from the karana. This is what it is. And so therefore the so therefore what? So the what we'll be talking about is, so sun in sat in Sanskrit means is. Ghata sat, patas sat, ghata san, patas san. This is the Atma, Sarvasya Adhishtanatvat, because it is the truth of everything. Everything. And so therefore the the Ghata Buddhi, when you see the Mrit, the Ghata Buddhi is this Mrit, sorry, when you see the pot, the Mrit Buddhi doesn't go away. Mrit Buddhi is very much there. And then then if you see two things belonging to the same order of reality, one of which is not causing the other, both of them are nama rupa. That's all that is there. So therefore, whatever you think of in the common parlance as two vastus, cause and effect, it is not there. The Nayayika argument, the argument of the realists who want multiple, some kind of a multiple universes and multiple things in the universe having the same order of reality, is hereby dismissed. Karyam is mithya, karanam is satyam. This is what it is. And so therefore this is a this is something to really internalize, because this is indeed the bread and butter of Vedanta. And then I think that he quotes from the Chandogya Shruti, he quotes, and then after that we will see that tomorrow, the quotation from the Chandogya Shruti, and then finally we'll go into the next mantra. This is a good place to stop. If you have any questions, you can ask. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Thank you.